This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Hey guys, in today's video, we'll be showcasing Arbok EX. Arbok EX has definitely been upgraded with the new Shrouded Fable set, and interestingly enough, I have not actually showcased this card in this channel yet, so this is my chance to do that. Basically, what makes Arbok EX great is because of its second attack, Menacing Fangs. For 3 Dark Energies, it deals 150 damage, and then your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand to discard. I don't like the fact that your opponent chooses what to discard, but it still limits their options going into their turn. And that's pretty much gonna be the whole strategy for this build. Keep attacking while you limit what your opponent can play in their hand. Arbok EX does partner really well with the Unfair Stamp A-Spec card. When one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's turn, you can use this card and have both players shuffle their hand back to their deck. You draw 6 cards, while your opponent only draws 2. Between this and Arbok EX's attack, you leave your opponent with a 0 card hand going into their turn. But late game, you can still use Iono or Roxanne so that you can continue to limit your opponent's hand. And as I mentioned at the outset of this video, XEROSIC'S Machination does partner well with Arbok EX. This forces your opponent to discard cards from their hand until they only have 3 cards left. This is very disruptive that it can severely limit your opponent's setup. Again, when you follow up with Arbok EX's attack, you can limit your opponent to just 1 card left in their hand going into their turn. And for science, I'm also experimenting on this new Malamar also from the Shrouded Fable set, because this one is built to combo with XEROSIC'S Machinations. And we'll be using this more for its first attack, Colluding Tentacles. For just 1 Dark Energy, you switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot, and if you do, this attack does 120 damage to the new active Pokemon. I just thought this was a good inclusion since we'll be using XEROSIC'S Machinations anyways, especially if you can set it up turn 2, you could potentially start taking out your opponent's Pokemon before they can even set up. This could possibly be a good sniping option if you think about it, because you could just technically finish off a Pokemon that you've already weakened with Arbok EX. The only downside to this attack is its condition, because if you don't get to use XEROSIC'S Machination, especially if your opponent has 3 cards or less in their hand, you can't use XEROSIC'S Machination, so you won't be able to use this attack. However, there is a bug in PTCG Live right now where this attack oftentimes does not work, so I would probably just replace this with like Morpeko or another support card to make this deck even more consistent. And another upgrade to this build is JANINE'S Secret Art. This allows you to choose up to 2 of your dark Pokemon, then attach 1 to each of those Pokemon. And your active will get poisoned if you attach an energy this way. But you can also use Dark Patch to accelerate 1 basic dark energy from your discard pile to one of your bench dark type Pokemon. And as a new addition, we also have FEZANDIPITI EX with a Flip the Script ability. If one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's turn, you can draw 3 cards. And finally, I also have PECHARUNT EX. This will allow you to switch one of your dark Pokemon from the bench to the active spot, and your new active will get poisoned. This is really great for switching your Pokemon around. And additionally, I also have this Munkidori with the Adrena Brain ability. As long as you have dark energy on this Pokemon, you can transfer up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Since Arbok EX can only deal 150 damage, the extra damage counter you can transfer with this will make it a lot easier for Arbok to knock out even Stage 2 EX Pokemon with just 2 attacks. For consistency, I'm using a combination of Rotom V for Sealstone and Pidgeot EX so that we can get whatever cards we need from our deck. Overall, Arbok EX can definitely be a very disruptive deck, especially if you can set up as soon as turn 2. However, if your opponent has a really powerful draw engine set up, you'll most likely fail to control your opponent's hand, and because of that, the win rate for this build is not all that great. This is definitely worth looking into if you want to just annoy people, but this is nowhere near competitive in my opinion. But do let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Arbok EX with Malamar. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video. And please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. Both players take a mulligan. And my opponent's using Psychic Energies, alright. We're gonna start this one with a Pidgey in the active spots. My opponent takes more mulligans. And we even get 3 extra cards. Alright, cool. And my opponent will be going first, starting with a Mimikyu in the active spot. There goes a Ralts and a Munkidori. We're going against Gardevoir EX. Alright, so we have type advantage against this matchup. But Mimikyu, we might have a hard time knocking out with Arbok, so maybe Malamar can help us out here. With Nest Ball, I'm going to get Rotom V. It's going to help us to draw 3 extra cards at the beginning of our turn here, especially we can't really evolve into anything yet. And with Arven, I'm gonna get Nest Ball and set up my own Monkey Dory, because if my opponent starts transferring damage counters, we can just send them right back with our own Monkey Dory. But since I really need my Pidgeot EX for consistency, I think I will just retreat my Pidgey, and then I can sacrifice Inkay. I'm just gonna my turn here with Instant Charge, draw 3. And next turn we can use 4 Seal Stone, maybe set up our Pidgeot EX and go from there. So my opponent now evolves into Kirlia. They can use Refinement, discard 1 card from their hand, draw 2. And with Arven, they get Buddy Buddy Poffin. I was actually thinking of using Malamar to knock out that Kirlia, but now they actually set up 2 more Ralts, and with TM Evolution on Mimikyu, they will evolve most likely into 2 other Kirlias. It's a very common strategy now for Gardevoir EX builds, because Kirlia is a very powerful draw engine. Alright, we got an Ekans for our draw, and we're gonna use Forest Seal Stone, use Star Alchemy, and I could get Malamar, but at this point, I think the most practical is to set up our Pidgeot EX. I'll just get 2 more energies with Earthen Vessel, and now we have more cards to work with. We can discard, I think, Iono, because if I'm gonna use XEROSIC'S Machinations this turn, that could work, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and just evolve into Pidgeot EX first. Now we can use our Quick Search ability to get any 1 card from our deck. But since we have TM Devolution, I think I'm just going to disrupt my opponent, really. If we devolve all of their Kirlia, they'll have to start from square 1. But for now, I'm going to get Malamar, evolve this. I can energize it, devolve, and then I can use XEROSIC'S Machination on my next turn. So with that, I think, I could use XEROSIC now, but I don't think it's gonna do me any good, because they can still start attacking, especially if they can evolve into Gardevoir EX. So I'm just gonna go for Iono, and I'm going to devolve my opponent. So I'll power up Malamar, TM Devo there, and then Iono. That way we have more cards to work with next turn. We even have Dark Patch. Alright, we can start energizing one of our Ekans. And I'm just going to devolve all of their Kirlias. So that should set back my opponent a few turns here. They'll have to evolve back into Kirlias before they evolve into Gardevoir EX. Unless they have Rare Candy, I'm pretty sure that's all they're gonna do is to evolve. And that's a good thing, because now we know that they cannot really attack this turn except for Mimikyu if they attach 1 energy onto it. And Malamar will survive an attack from that. But since my opponent used Iono, we actually got our hands on XEROSIC'S Machinations for their turn. Especially they're going to be drawing a lot of cards, especially with 3 Kirlias using Refinement. So that could set them back even more. And maybe we can even use Arbok EX if we can evolve this turn. But they're going to use TM Devolution themselves against us. Thankfully, we got a Rare Candy already from that Iono, so we can just re-evolve our Pidgeot EX. But now with a lot more arsenal in our favor. So we got Arbok EX, we got Malamar, we have Pidgeot EX back, and I could use Quick Search first to see what's the best option here. I could use Collapse Stadium, get our Rotom V out of the picture here. That's 1 less liability we have to work with, and we're gonna use XEROSIC'S Machination, and that should activate Malamar's attack. And we can now, I think I'm gonna drag their Monkey Dory into the active. But wait, what happened? It didn't do anything. Let's see, switch one of your Pokemon, opponent's Pokemon if you didn't play yeah, we played XEROSIC'S Machination, so that should have worked. Oh man, PTCG live. Oh, I found another bug, guys. I played XEROSIC'S Machinations, so that should have worked. But anyways, my opponent evolves into Gardevoir EX. Mimikyu is now starting to attack, but the only Pokemon we can use is actually Ekans or Malamar to attack. But also use Monkey Dory to transfer those damage counters. But I'm just so upset. We could have had a head start against my opponent. Could have had one extra prize already. But this is what we have to work with. Well, it is what it is, right? It's PTCG Live. There's a lot of other bugs in the game right now that they have to fix. But for now, I'm just going to play it as it is. I think we still have a chance here. Just put damage counters back to Mimikyu. And I'm going to use Janine's Secret Art to start energizing both of my benched Arbok line. So 1 to Arbok, 1 to Ekans. And I'm going to use Super Rod to get my energies back. And I'm going to leave one just in case we can use another Dark Patch. But since we can't really do anything else, Colluded Tentacles doesn't really do anything. And with those transferred damage, Mimikyu can now get a knockout against our Malamar. Okay, so at least that will leave room for our Fezandipiti EX. We can draw more cards. And maybe we can get an energy, use Ekans to attack and get this Mimikyu knocked out as soon as possible. We got a counter catcher though. I could take out that Gardevoir EX. Well, I'm pretty sure that my opponent cannot knock us out with any of their Pokemon right now, so it's safe to say that my Arbok EX should be able to live thanks to our collapsed stadium, preventing them from playing any more Pokemon from their bench. So I'm just going to attack with Acid Spray, and we got heads. Alright, that gives us a chance to discard one of their Dark Energies, and that's fine. Maybe they don't have any energies. Well, they can accelerate energies with Gardevoir EX, but that's fine. They transfer back damage. Unfortunately, Mimikyu can still attack, and if my opponent attaches an energy from their discard to Mimikyu, it will make it easier for us to knock it out. But no, they're just gonna attach for turn, leaving no damage to Mimikyu. So that's fine. You know what? I'm gonna take advantage of just knocking out this Gardevoir EX. That's one less problem that we have to worry about since we have Counter Catcher. So I'm just going to do that, Counter Catcher, and what I could do is just since we're gonna be attacking with Arbok EX anyways, I'm just going to transfer damage counters to Mimikyu, and then I can use Unfair Stamp this turn. Put Ekans into play. That's gonna work against their Mimikyu. Let's flip the script, and we got Arven. I can even use Arven to get Unfair Stamp. So let's go ahead and do that. Unfair Stamp my opponent. We draw 6. They only draw 2. And once we attack with Arbok EX, that's gonna leave them with 0 cards in their hand. Yeah, sure, they can use their Corelias to draw more cards, but still, those are 2 cards that we discarded this turn. So I'm just gonna grab Super Rod, and I'm just gonna recover my energies for now. Malamar is a little bit useless, knowing that it's not working properly, so I'm just gonna use Menacing Fangs. Thankfully, it had an initial damage counters to it. Discard their Counter Catcher and a recovery item, which is nice. That gets us our first 2 prizes. So we're looking good so far. We are 2 prizes down, and with no Gardevoir EX available to my opponent, it's gonna be hard for them to accelerate any energies to their other attackers. Because if anything, they can get a Drifloon or something like that, or Screamtail, but still, with no Gardevoir available, maybe they won't draw into it. It's gonna be in our favor. Dude, they have Neutralization Zone? Okay, then that makes all of their Pokemon invulnerable to Arbok EX's attack. This is gonna be a little tough. Let's see what we could do. Let's use Quick Search. I only have 1 Stadium, no other way to discard their Stadium. I mean, I could use Pidgeot EX to attack, to discard their Stadium. But for now, I'm just gonna finish off this Mimikyu because it's getting really annoying. So I'll just transfer damage, and that should put it within knockout range of Acid Spray, knocking it out. And it doesn't matter if we flip heads or tails, because Mimikyu is knocked out. We got one more prize. We got Dark Patch. Alright. So far we're looking good. So we have at least one out to this situation, is to use Pidgeot EX. Get that neutralization zone stadium out so that we can continue to attack with our Arbok EX. But then again, my opponent really can't do anything because their main engine, Gardevoir EX, is nowhere in sight. And knowing the fact that they need that gives us a leverage, and we know we're going to be getting 2 more prizes if we can knock it out. So there it is. Gardevoir EX is now in play. Neutralization zone does absolutely nothing for their Gardevoir EX. They attach a dark energy to it and accelerate energies. And yeah, even if they Adrena Brain, they're going to counter capture my Arbok EX, transfer those damage counters. Thankfully, we have Arbok EX in our hand to evolve our other one in even a Dark Patch. So what I could do is pivot into Pidgeot EX. We can easily retreat that. There's the Drifloon. And what they could do, they need to actually start Accelerate Energies here, but they don't. They had 3 energies in the discard pile, but that could have helped them. Because what they don't know is that we have Arbok EX, we have Dark Patch, and we can just take out this Gardevoir EX, getting us our next 2 prizes, and we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. So I'm gonna retreat into Arbok EX, and then I can accelerate energy to Pidgeot EX. If we cannot evolve into another Arbok EX, Pidgeot EX can just take care of their Drifloon or one of their benched Pokemon. So that's gonna be our final attacker. I mean, I can use PECHARUNT EX as well. So let's just put that into play, and then I'm gonna use Iono again, leaving them with just 2 cards in their hand. We're gonna use Menacing Fangs, knock out their Gardevoir EX, leaving them with 0 cards in their hand. Get our 2 prizes, and at this point, a boss's orders, dude. That's it. That seals the deal. I don't think my opponent can recover from this, and we got this in the bag, guys. Arbok EX is definitely, it's really, really disruptive. Awesome. There it is. Good game. All right, on to our next match. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna put PECHARUNT EX in the active. I can just use his Subjugating Chains to switch it out, putting a new dark Pokemon into the active. My opponent mulligans, and a combination of fighting and grass is not a good sign, guys. I think we're going against Raging Bolt EX. Get 1 extra card, Dark Patch, but our opening hand looks horrible. They have Ogerpon EX. Alright, dude, there's nothing to help us draw on our very first turn. This is not looking good. We can't even set up any other basic. We got JANINE'S Secret Art. We can't use that. And yeah, this is not good, guys. And then my opponent going second, they can use support cards, and they can attack. And there it is. Raging Bolt EX. Squawkabilly EX goes into play as well. That's going to help them draw extra cards. They can only use its ability on their very first turn. Squawk and Seize can discard their entire hand, draw 6. But if they find Professor Sada's Vitality, they can accelerate energy to their ancient Pokemon. And yeah, our PECHARUNT EX could be a goner here. But let's see how well my opponent sets up. They switch card into Raging Bolt into the active. Now they can start attacking. They just need 1 Lightning Energy. And they're gonna Squawk and Seize. They discarded Prime Catcher, the Lightning Energy, and Professor Sada. I don't think they have any energies in the discard, because to use Professor Sada, you need an energy in the discard pile. So that could have saved us. And they used Pokestop, and they discarded nothing but Pokemon. So that's a good thing. And they're just gonna recover Sada with their Pal Pad, and they have Duskull. Okay. Interesting. So they're using Duskull. Pokegear. Okay, I was nervous there for a second, but they found nothing, so that's awesome. They have 1 last card in their hand. What could it be? Nothing. Energy retrieval. They just use Burst Roar, discard their hand, draw 6 to end their turn, but we got Rotom-V from our top deck. Come on. Nothing to help us out with this Pokestop, so... I'm just gonna use Instant Charge, guys. I don't want to use up my Dark Patch. I might need that, and I might need Rotom-V to help me continue to draw cards, because, yeah, I have really little options here. We're just being given horrible cards. Let's see, we can set up our Pidgey next turn. We have Rare Candy. We can use Unfair Stamp just in case my opponent knocks out possibly our Pecharunt EX. And hopefully we can evolve into an Arbok EX and then go from there. Limiting their hand to just 2 could disrupt them. Maybe they cannot charge up another attack for the next turn. But we'll see. But yeah, going back to my opponent's strategy here, having Duskull and, Dusclops and Dusknoir, that does put, or at least add damage counters to their targets, and they can easily just knock out their opponent's Pokemon, even with just minimal discarding of energy. So that could help them preserve energies, but at the same time, that does give them up a prize. So here goes another Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, and yeah, they have enough energies here. Yeah, if they discard only 3 energy cards, they can knock out Pecharunt EX, dealing 210 damage. Their bench Raging Bolt EX is also fully energized. Now my opponent will attack with Bellowing Thunder. And there it is, their first knockout against our Pecharunt EX, giving them their first 2 prizes. I'll just I'll just put my Rotom-V in the active, guys. This is not looking good. Imitation Energy to Ekans. Dark Patch. I can put Pidgey in play, discard these 2 to get an Arbok EX. Okay, and then the only way we can switch our Arbok EX in the active is with Pecharunt, so thankfully we got Night Stretcher to recover that. I'm gonna use Unfair Stamp, put my opponent down to 2, and then when we attack with Arbok EX, we could limit their hand. And with just 3 energies in play, maybe they cannot knock out our Arbok EX and be able to survive. So let's go ahead and Subjugating Chains. Arbok EX is poisoned, but that's fine. We can attack for Menacing Fangs, deal 150. And that actually discarded Professor Turo, which is awesome. And also Earthen Vessel. But they got another one from Pokestop. Oh, dude. That's not a good sign, because now they can just get Grass Energies. Teal Mask Ogerpon can just accelerate them, and they will have enough energies to knock out our Arbok EX. I was hoping that they didn't have the energies, because 260 is a lot of HP to go through, but nope. They got it. They got all the energies they needed. Here comes the Bellowing Thunder attack. They need to discard 4. Yeah, there it is. Arbok EX goes down once again. My opponent gets 2 more prizes, and yeah, I don't I don't know how else to do this. We got a Roxanne from our top deck. I'll just use Super Rod to recover these 3. I mean, never give up, never surrender, I guess. Just gonna do our best. We got Fezandipiti EX to help us draw extra cards. I'll just use Roxanne for now. It's kind of like Unfair Stamp. We draw 6, my opponent draws 2. And then we can use Flip the Script to draw 3 extra cards. So we got an Arbok EX, which is nice. Can we fully energize it is the question. Come on, Dark Patch. Oh, we even lost the Forest Seal Stone. Yeah, I think we lost this game, guys. I'm just gonna Instant Charge. 3 cards in my opponent's hand is plenty. They can have everything. Alright, with Pokestop, they got a Nest Ball. Earthen Vessel to get them more grass energies and fighting energy. No, they didn't. They don't have any more energies in their deck. Okay, so my opponent is focusing on recovering energies here, and they're just gonna Burst Roar, draw 6. Bro, we're still in the game. Okay, and we got a Dark Patch from our top deck. Awesome. Let's go ahead and attach to Arbok. Attach this. Then I can use Ultra Ball, discard these two, and then I'm gonna get Pidgeot EX. Now we can start getting whatever cards we need from our deck. I could use XEROSIC'S Machinations, but I'm just gonna use Iono for the meantime. Leave my opponent down to just 0 cards from their hand, because once I use Arbok, my opponent chooses which card to discard. If I leave them 1 card in their hand, that could be the game-winning card. So I'm just gonna leave them with no option for the meantime. I'm gonna use Collapse Stadium, get rid of my Rotom V. I don't know if it'll make much difference, but I'm just doing what else I can to try and win this game. We finally get a knockout against their Raging Bolt EX that threw out or discarded a Trekking Shoe and a Night Stretcher. So that recovery item could have, might actually win us the game, maybe. But it is requiring that we do take 2 attacks to knock out a Raging Bolt EX, or actually any of their EX Pokemon. So Arbok EX has a low HP or low attack damage output. That's the only downside to it, but it is very disruptive. There goes 2 energies to their Ogerpon. They have Night Stretcher, Energy, Retrieval, and a Pokegear 3.0. Dude, they could... Oh, they whiff it. They don't have any more Professor Sada? It's either priced or they have it in their hand. Energy Retrieval gets them more cards from their discard pile. And they can start charging up their Raging Bolt. And because it will take us a lot of turns before we can knock this guy out, they could still energize it and take that final attack or final blow against one of our EX Pokemon to get the last 2 prizes. They're gonna boss my Pecharunt EX and they're gonna end their turn. Okay, what can we do here, guys? We have a boss orders. Let me use Quick Search for now. And I think I'm gonna go for Dark Patch. Actually, I can attack with Pecharunt EX because since they've already taken 4 prizes, we're hitting for 240. That's enough to knock out this Raging Bolt EX. I'm gonna use Subjugating Chains. I'm gonna hard retreat my Arbok EX so I can use Dark Patch, attach for turn, to fully power up my Pecharunt EX, retreat, sacrificing 2 energies. And I'm just gonna attack with Irritating Outburst, guys. 240 damage, knocking out their Raging Bolt EX. And yeah, we're still in this game. If they cannot set up another Raging Bolt fully powered up, we should be fine. Even if they fully power up this Teal Mask Ogerpon, let's see, 30 damage for each energy, 3, 6, 9, 12. Plus 6, 180. That's all they can do is 180 with Ogerpon. So they can use their Teal Dance, attach, and then attach for turn. They can deal 180. They're not gonna knock out my Pecharunt EX. They can't knock out any of our EX Pokemon. So can they win this? They don't have any more cards left in their deck. Dude, never give up, never surrender, guys. This could be it. Do they have it? No, that's not gonna power up Ogerpon. What a clutch win! Good game! And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.